Should you run Facebook and Google ads at the same time? That answer is pretty simple. Absolutely, yes, you should. And typically, if you stop running one, your entire funnel is going to break. Let me explain. You see, most people treat their Google and Facebook / Meta ads like competitors, but the truth is they really work in tandem, they work together, and they feed each other. Facebook is going to drive your discovery. It is a demand creation discovery platform. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all of those, all your social platforms are demand creation. What do people usually do after they see something new or interested in something? They're going to go and look it up. They go to Google. So people see your brand and your products. They go and they search and they end up on Google or Bing, very rarely Bing, but some people end up on Bing, but they usually go to Google. So now Google gets to step in and play its role for demand capture. It is there to, one, remarket to people. If you're e-commerce and you're running a Performance Max campaign, that's strictly what Performance Max does. It only does remarketing. It doesn't really do any kind of a good job at prospecting and finding new people. It is just going to stalk the living crap out of everybody who's been to your website and or looked at a product. If you're lead gen, you could do the same thing with display campaigns. It's going to follow them around. Conversely, when people go and search your brand or your product names, you show up on search. Now, Google is capturing that demand. So if you're not on Google or running ads at the same time as you're running your Meta ads, you are going to lose that potential demand capture to possibly a competitor, even Amazon, who knows? And because this is the way people now work and actually operate when they see an ad on social and they're going to look into it and they're going to research. Yes, there are those people who just knee-jerk purchase from a Meta ad or a TikTok ad. Like, that happens. I'm not going to act like that's not actually happening. But with the way consumer buying is and the journeys that they take, being multi-platform, being omnipresent is very important. But now you also need to understand that you can't just look at Meta ROAS and Google ROAS and be like, which one's better? Where should we spend our money? No, you need to understand the entire customer journey because they work together. And you're probably sitting there like, okay, this is great. Like, we need to have them work together. I need to be on multiple platforms, but how do I divvy my money up? So this is what I would generally tell you to do. And what we do for all of our clients is I'm going to take like 60 to 70% of the budget and we're going to drive it on Meta, right? I know that's where we can create demand. Then I'm going to take that other 30 to 40% and I'm going to run it on Google. With that 30 to 40% is going to allow us to capture that demand from the people who actually end up going to Google and looking up the brand, the product, the service, your company name, whatever it is. And that's just a starting point. Everything after that is testing and adjusting to reallocate budget based upon what's actually happening through tracking and knowing where their clicks start and where their clicks end. Don't just use Google Analytics, by the way. You get modeled data. It's not that accurate. Speaking of attribution, you likely know that Meta is going to give too much credit because of view-through attribution. Google misses early touch points. So if Google happens to be a first touch point and then it takes a little while for them to purchase, Google's not going to really grab it. Google notoriously, as long as your tracking pixels are set up properly, underreports. So using a third-party tool is very, very, very important. Whether you're lead gen or your e-commerce, especially on the e-com end, you need some sort of third-party tracking tool to actually see where they're starting via click and where they're ending via click, and what's the middle, how long is it taking them to purchase, what's the entire journey, so you can allocate properly and not just keep feeding Meta because, oh, it got view throughs. If you don't have the budget for a third-party attribution tool, that's totally fine. You can still break down inside of Meta because Meta's the one that's always going to over-report, and I would rather know how much it's over-reporting by, and by one of the drop-downs, you can literally click customize attribution settings, and you can pick 1, 7 to 28 day views. What you want to see is the view-through attribution versus click-through attribution. Odds are you're going to have a very substantial amount of your revenue or leads coming via view-through. That just means that the ad was on their feed at some point and they scrolled by it, maybe stopped and looked at it. But does that really matter? Don't really know. It's kind of like a billboard in a commercial. Sure, they saw it, but did that actually drive the conversion? And should that give credit to Facebook? I don't think so. I think the click matters more. Yes, it played a role, but let's also track the clicks so I know where to properly put money. So in conclusion, basically, if you're wondering which platform should you utilize for your business, the answer is both. Put them both on there. They will both feed each other. They work in tandem.